God, don't hurt me. Oh. Sorry.
Oh.
Alright, you think 8 would be the appropriate time to start here?
Yes.
All right.
I may even grab a small snack. I don't know what I'll snack on. I'm gonna go rummage around for something to like nip on before we start.
Alright. I'll look at my phone and pretend not to be here like I'm in real life.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
all right. I'll be right back.
Oh God. Slow Beef's naked on Twitch. Just thought I'd share that with everyone.
All right, I'm back. Sorry for the wait.
All right.
I just decided to get incredibly noise-free snacks, like really really crunchy chips and screaming salsa.
Nice. I decided to play midis and work on a Doom map while I waited.
Okay.
Are we ready to go, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should probably get on the stream. Well, not the stream, but I should get the video in question.
Yeah. We're on PlayStation Doom Part 2.
Yes! PlayStation Doom. PlayStation Doom 2.
Doom 2. Heck.
All right. Give me a moment before we begin.
All right.
OneNote 2016. WADs. Joke WADs folder.
Uh-oh.
PlayStation Doom 2. Heck. That one's going on my list.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna actually lay claim to it.
I still have to do the "It's Exactly What You Think" series.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put those down.
Wait, I have to consult the list. I have a list somewhere, I think, unless it got it disappeared after getting a new computer. I doubt it. I have the same hard drive, you know.
Oh wait, hold on. Recovery code. Wow. Where's your RadSim? John Dunn. A shit joke that I've written down for when we get to a certain game in the series, and I can't utter it until we get to the game.
Okay.
It's so dumb too. God, it hurts. It's a secret though.
All right, I'll just joke wad's good. I'll just paste this entire text document there. Yeah.
VR Tech, Apocalypse Rain. Oh, here it is. Wads.wads. Okay.
I don't even know what pinetreegun.wad could possibly be referring to. The context for that was lost long ago.
Yes, it was. Should probably start writing these down as they come. I added. Yeah, let's see. Cool. The 2 wads I added are not. They're not in your list even. But they have descriptions too.
Oh.
Go ahead and take a peek.
Oh boy, here I go peeking again. Audacity.wad.
Oh, I should also emphasize.
Oh god. That's pretty good. I like Audacity.
There. I emphasized that it should be layered over each other, so it's not like sequential.
Yeah, it's not one after the other. Each sound is literally every sound simultaneously.
Yes. And that's every sound.
Yeah, every sound is every sound at the same time.
Yeah.
You'd probably get that done tonight if we wanted to.
I think that's going to be an after-stream project. Oh boy! Oh, what do we want to do? We want to do that with the music too. That might be a little harder.
Yeah, that might be a little harder.
Well, technically, all you'd have to do is make non-MIDI. You would have to take the MIDIs and export them into like MP3 files or something.
Well,
and then
I've already got
all
them all as MP3 files, so I could layer those on top of each other.
Yeah, so layer all of them into one track, and then make every track.
Oh god!
Oh. Audacity indeed.
I was almost tempted to have every sound effect in the music too, but that might be a bit excessive because then I would be tempted to have every music and every sound effect too.
Oh god!
And then that would just be a cacophonous nightmare.
It already will be, but like, not. Yeah. It would be. What's the word? Incomprehensible. There needs to be some semblance of, like, oh god, there.
Oh boy. All right. We ready to go?
I should probably get my fancy Doom PDF open. But yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
Otherwise, I am.
Would be a good idea. I am
ready for action.
Oh,
groovy.
Grovey. I'm Dove Grovem.
Gravelly. Gravelly. I'm Grovel Hodgem.
That's not a real name. Get a real name. Alright.
Oh man. I had a Duke Nukem joke too and I didn't write it down. Frick.
Darn. So yeah.
Dang Orangum.
I don't know if you remember what happened last time in Knee Deep of the Dead.
Knee Deep of the Dead?
Yeah.
Well, we're in hell,
Yeah, there was a lot of red and considerably less clothing.
Oh God, that's right. I assimilated the main characters. I
Oh
remember
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. You were eating Dairy Queen, so it was cold and kind of
That's
awkward.
right. That's right. I think it was like a cheesecake blizzard.
Nice.
It was all right. I think I'll stick to Oreo from now on. But yeah,
All right. All right. Should we get the video started then, or?
we should. I've actually kind of been bumbling around through folders looking for what I need, but I'm
Oh,
gonna
all
get the
right.
video up at least.
Take your time.
I'm gonna go to this folder, and then that folder, and then not that folder. I'm gonna go to oh God, oh there it is, and then part 2, and then yes, excuse me.
No. Here we are.
That was a burp, but also like a BJ escapes Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like really sped up.
Oh man, I forgot to release hype.mp4 for our 200 subscribers. Oh well. Maybe
Oh
for
man.
300.
Okay, for 300.
Nah, that's kind of stupid. I can just release it whenever.
That's true. Incredibly belated 200 subscriber special video. Oh, okay. I'm not looking for Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Not right now, anyways.
Well, 'tis a silly movie.
Doom.pdf.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
man. I have Doom-related things to show you, too.
Oh, good. That's
Well,
always good.
Doom and Strafe, particularly.
Strafe
I thought were fun.
1996.
Yes, Strafe 1996. The wonderful year we're in the thread.
Well, almost.
Should we look at Strafe for 1996?
No, because it wasn't on any of its engines.
Oh yeah, right. Huh. Dang. Well, maybe for the. Oh wait, no. Quake is in this thread too. Dang it. Well.
Yeah, well,
Then.
it's not in the upcoming thread either. So
Mm,
I guess it could be if we really wanted it to.
it's not. I would say it's more appropriate for this thread. Well, maybe like if there was a thread for another third particular related game series that was less about campaigns and more about the multiplayer. Hint, hint.
Maybe.
It was pretty surreal, if you get my drift.
Yeah. Unusual.
Yeah. And okay, I'm just gonna break the K-fob real quick and say I really want a game called Unusual Tournament now.
Built on Unusual Engine 4.
Unusual Engine. Oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Oh, I've really gone and done it this time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've got knee deep in the demons open.
All right, let's go. Let's bury our knees further into the dead.
Ew. This is getting kind of weird. Well, I mean, it's been weird, but like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna search for the word red, and oh, of course.
I'll give you a hint. Chapter 28.
Do 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 do. Well, I'll just look for 28. Hey, there it is. The ladder vanished. It was only in our minds, anyway. For a while, we slipped and slid as if we were at a crazy amusement park. But at least we could see. No matter how bad a situation, I was always grateful for light.
All right.
That's the last thing we saw.
Yep.
Oh, also, Flynn Taggart listing 7 different variants of red.
Yeah, and also the truth is out there.
The truth is out there.
So that's probably my favorite line in the book so far.
That is my favorite line. I mean, lemons are eternal, but
Oh, yeah.
he hasn't complained about rotten lemon smell in a while. I'm kind of sad.
He's still done it more than I thought he would have.
Yeah. But now I wonder, what will the next fruit be?
Um, hmm.
I think the last one was a vegetable, unfortunately. Remember that revelation being, wasn't it avocado?
No, I don't
I feel
think.
like no.
Wait, was there an
Hmm.
avocado? See, it's hard to, tell for sure. It could honestly be
Right.
anything. I know there were melons for sure, and squash, and
Oh, maybe that
pumpkins.
was it. Maybe it was a melon.
Melon.
Oh man, I don't remember what the last thing that, that Flynn Taggart mentioned, but I remember it being an upset. It was like, what? No!
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
pumpkins. It was pumpkins
hmm.
because the pumpkin
Yeah,
is cacodemon.
cacodemons.
That's
Um,
right.
all right. I think he'll make some reference to bananas next.
Hmm. Well, let's
It's a
see.
little
Let's
plain,
consider
but
they're going into the deep red, and I don't know what that is, or maybe that's just a reference to like before you descend onto Demos. Well, they're already at Demos, aren't they?
they're,
Man, I don't even
they're
remember.
in gosh darn heck.
Gosh darn heck, right? Well, there's a point where Doom Guy descends into Demo space, and the sky is just full of red. And I think that's what they're maybe drawing an allusion to right now is instead of you know falling with less gravity than the moon down to Demos, just
Well,
from the cliff he's on. They're
grav.
taking a mythical red ladder, shoots and
Yeah, sure.
ladders.
Gravity
I wonder.
shenanigans is how they killed the steam demon.
Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we should get the video started soon because I'm just streaming a black screen right now.
That's true. Okay. Ready when you.
All right, ready?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, welcome back to this thing. Anyway, more knee deep in the dead. We've seen this level
Yeah.
before.
It's still cool looking because we have custom PlayStation Fire Sky,
Yeah,
which is always. Oh, it's. Warms my heart.
yeah.
Not because it's fire, but
Well,
because
yeah, we'll be seeing some new original maps later on, but in the meantime, we've got some novels to finish.
hopefully not Twilight
Um,
or 50 Shades of Grey.
well, I let me just put this away real quick.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
well,
Anyway,
okay. Now here's the penultimate question:
hmm.
would they be better than Doom Knee Deep in the Dead? Is the
Um,
question.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like realistically, like yes, there's some bias here because it's Doom and because this is so bad. It's just so bad. But would it actually potentially be a better book than Knee Deep in the Dead?
I don't know, but personally, I can't wait till we get to novels 3 and 4 because I hear that's when they really, go off the rails into horrible territory, and I don't even know what to expect, honestly.
Um, I just think of the Metal Gear Solid book, and I don't remember much about it. I haven't really read it myself, but I do remember there's a part where I guess Snake goes to like a kiddie funland park or something,
What the?
and I think they train child soldiers there or something.
Uh,
I'm probably misconstruing that, but that's
no.
also I think like every page in the book has at least 3 one-liners from Snake.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey.
because
Um,
that's what he was really known for in Metal Gear
sure.
was being a hard ass.
Anyway, I guess I'll start off.
All right.
Chapter 28. Sorry. I really want to get through this book, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's knock it out.
Chapter 28. The red tunnel was bathed in the kind of hazy glow you get in a dark room when you're developing photos. So long as I could see my hand in front of my face, I wasn't going to freak. But that was the only good thing about the situation. Then we fell into a room. Room? Some sort of internal organ. The walls, floor, and ceiling were pink, pulsating flesh, ribbed and liberally coated with slippery mucus. Once again, both Arlene and I were naked as jaybirds. Instinctively, I covered myself again, just as I had before. "Oh, come on, Fly," Arlene complained. "You're a human being. Thank God." We have little enough to remind us of who we are and why we're here. We don't need you being shy on top of everything else. I slowly took my hands away, but I tried not to look hard at Arlene. I didn't trust myself. We were buddies. I wanted it to stay that way. This place stinks, Arlene said. Maybe my nose had stopped working. I counted myself lucky. The organ was diseased, sickly, and I was glad I couldn't smell it. There was a downward slope that wasn't so steep as to cause us to lose our footing altogether, but I wasn't comfortable as we stumbled through the giant organ. I had a disturbing sense of what organ it was, a place we've all been before. I just had a bad thought fly. I hope whatever burned away our clothes didn't also burn away all the microbes in our guts that help us digest food. Without them, we'll die of starvation no matter how much we eat.
I just had a really bad thought, too. Flynn Taggart's nose isn't working. No wonder he hasn't been complaining about rotten lemons. Oh my god!
Man. Well, shoot.
That dip in the green slime really did him some favors, apparently.
Apparently.
Well, anyways.
I doubt it. I said, my voice shaky. Was this always in first person? I guess it was.
Yeah,
it
maybe?
was. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I don't know why I thought otherwise.
Because he talks a lot about things that happened in the past, which gives him kind of like a narrative vibe, and it kind of slips out of first person when that happens.
All right. As if I hadn't used it for decades. I don't feel ravenously hungry, so evidently the gate left the MRE food in my stomach. Probably left the microbes as well. Anything organic. We both jumped when the demonic uterus started contracting. I had always hated amusement parks. Then we were sliding out of control. I grabbed Arlene's hand and she squeezed hard. The contradictions pushed us along the floor to a door, a giant semi-transparent cyst membrane with a doorknob in the middle. The knob was made of some kind of cartilage. I pushed my arm into a wet opening all the way to the shoulder and turned the knob.
Ew, it's getting weird and gross.
Well,
like really fast.
Yeah, he's a born lever puller after all, so...
God damn it.
2 corpses were on the other side. They'd only been shadows seen through the membrane. We couldn't tell what they were. One was male, the other female. After our experience with deja vu, I experienced a momentary shock of thinking the bodies were our own. They weren't, but they could have been related to us. Similar body types, similar faces. I sure as hell knew who they were, though. One was the third woman in Fox Company besides Dardier and Arlene, Midori Yoshida. The man was Lieutenant Weems. I felt a curious lack of emotion looking at the pair. They lay in an awkward position, head to head, each with a pistol in each other's mouth. It was pretty clearly a suicide pact, I suppose because of finding themselves in hell. Arlene leaned down to separate them, and we made a horrific discovery. They weren't just lying a tete-a-tete. Their heads were joined together, fused at the crowns, the scalp flowing smoothly from one to the other, like Siamese twins joined at the head. The hair color faded continuously from blonde, Weems, to black, Yoshida, without seam or break. Jesus and Mary, I gasped. I don't guess there's any question why they blew their brains out, Arlene whispered, dropping the bodies. Arlene silently pointed to bloody imp prints around the bodies. We both knew the shape of an imp footprint when we saw one. Judging from the depth of the heels, the bastards had been dancing around the bodies of their human victims. I spat at one of the footprints. Arlene gripped my shoulder. Fly, don't think I'm a ghoul, but goddammit, we need those pistols. And much as I like looking at your manly chest, I think we need the clothes. Definitely the boots. She had a point, a stomach-turning, revolting point, but still one against which I couldn't argue. We spent the next several minutes robbing the corpses and throwing up in the corner, but afterwards we each had a pistol and 26 rounds. The exit the room we had to squeeze through To exit the room, we had to squeeze through a narrow opening that looked exactly like, well, I didn't even like to think about it. I volunteered to go first, and she didn't object. Fly, came her voice as we wriggled through and arrived through the orifice. Do you ever get the feeling you're being born again? I'm not a huge fan of morbid jokes. This time all I could do was shudder. Arlene, maybe we shouldn't be pissing off the only friend we've got down here by blasphemy. The moist, decaying walls pressed in around my shoulders, but I could still push through, and where I went, it was easy for Arlene to follow. The thought crossed my mind that the passage might narrow so much that I'd become stuck. I wasn't completely rational about this one. I was so glad to pop out the other end I barely minded the 7 imps waiting on the other side. For one truly insane moment, I wondered if that would make Arlene Snow White. Then I was busy again, doing my job. Arlene was right behind me doing her job. We only had a brace of pistols. The sons of bitches didn't stand a chance. As was the usual case after a good killing, we took advantage of the opportunity to do more sightseeing. Not once did I regret that neither of us had thought to bring a camera. So this is hell, Arlene said. What they want us to think is the infernal regions, I replied. Hell is made of fleshy walls, an open field whose ground was a mottled scalp, with comically giant prickly hairs growing out of randomly scattered tufts, rivers of fire, a black and red swirling sky, and air that stank of urine, decayed flowers, and bitter lemons.
Yes!
Yes. Bitter lemons. That's
That's why I shouted in victory. It's a new description of lemons.
Yeah, they're not sour anymore. That's bitter. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You're real. That's character development. You're evolving, Fly.
Character development. Oh, fuck. That's what we're calling character development. Oof.
Bitter lemons. There may have been a hint of old cat boxes mixed in there as well. Come to think of it, I continued, not a bad try. One of their more creative efforts. We saw a single door, sagging with moldy, rotten timbers. The stonework lintel was crumbling. Arlene strolled to the unpromising portal and made a close inspection. Fly, come look at this. I went, but my stomach wished I hadn't. There were mites of larvae eating away at the stone, the wood, the fleshy walls, everything. Quite an attention to detail, Arlene said as if evaluating an artwork. The next moment she stopped being an art critic. A cloud of tiny creatures came off into the air as if we'd pounded on the door, but neither of us had touched anything. They settled on her. More followed and they settled on me. Holding up my hand, I could see dozens of little specks spreading across my flesh, and there was a very slight itch. Damn it, get off me! Arlene shook her arms wildly, but enjoyed no more success than I. We ran, rolled, and still the little vermin hung on. They were worse than lint. Ah, the hell with it, I said. They don't seem to be killing us. First chance we'll take a bath. Or go through a teleporter, she said. Being living organisms, they would probably go through with us. No, we'll look for water. Or flea dip. She probably had a good idea there, but her voice cracked. She held on by main force. Can't stand here forever, I said. Let's pop it. I cracked the seal. Surprise! A pair of larger-than-life pumpkins floated out. At least they weren't going to crawl around on our skin. They were high up enough that we ducked and managed to avoid being seen. They sailed past, looking for hoops and nets. The pumpkins saw the dead imps and floated over to investigate, providing us with the opportunity of darting through the doorway. Inside, we found a single shotgun and a few shells. Arlene picked it up and tossed it to me. I was touched. We soldiered on. To the left, we saw a rickety wooden walkway over a pool of boiling red stuff that seemed to be a cross between lava and traditional green toxin. Annoyingly, it was the only way to go. As we began to cross cautiously, the path started to give way. For some reason, neither of us was the least bit surprised. There was nowhere to go but forward before the pathetic bridge collapsed into the evil fluid below. We ran like hell, but at the end we were blocked by what appeared to be a solid stone wall. I threw myself at the wall, hoping to grab a handful, and then Arlene could grab me. Instead, we ended up very much alive on the other side of the illusion. There was no wall. If we were startled by the turn of events, the imps we had landed on were downright stunned. The shotgun lost its virginity then and there. Arlene took care of a few stragglers with her 10mm. This time, when we lifted our eyes from the carnage of the moment, we were in for a real surprise. Right in front of us was the figure of a human being wrapped in something sticky and suspended from the ceiling by his feet. We could tell by his clothing that he was a UAC civilian. We could tell from his groans that he was alive. He was tall, nearly 2 meters. He was overweight and suffering a lot more because of it. The stomach hanging at a painful angle, his belt about to come loose. Blood trickled down his wrists from where he had tried to free himself. God, he's still kicking, Arlene said, focusing on the only important thing. I looked close. The man appeared to be wrapped up in spider webs. The web suspending him from the ceiling was thick and didn't look like we could easily break it. Is there a knife anywhere? We pulled UAC boxes over and rummaged through them. No knife, but a bottle would break to serve the purpose. Arlene sliced, and I cushioned his fall as he came down, grunting at the weight. Good thing there were some medical supplies in the UAC boxes. The man was in shock. Arlene pushed some D5W saline pump up the volume. After a while, his eyes opened. He stared at us without comprehension. I expected that. Can you hear me? I asked, and got nothing. If you understand me, nod your head. That took a moment, but he finally nodded. Arlene massaged his neck, and I held a finger in front of him until he focused on it. Are you all right? Arlene asked him at last. He grunted in a low, husky voice, carrying all the pain. Who are you? I asked. Bill Rich, he said groggily. How long were you up there? Arlene asked. Further proof that life was coming back into him was the way he shuddered. Long enough that I thought I died. Who put you up? I asked. The goblin, he answered. Spider mind.
The goblin?
Goblin? Oh. Oh.
That's okay.
Man, having a slightly hoarse voice is great for this dying guy, though. Oh, great. A whole new nomenclature. That narrowed it down to any of the monsters. If we ever reported to Earth, we would need to settle on a common terminology. Congratulations, said Arlene. For what? For what? He asked, half turning to her, still dizzy. Surviving. It was a big deal finding another human who could move and wasn't a damned zombie. We would have opened the bottle of champagne and celebrated if we had the time, or the booze. As it was, Rich was stunned to receive a mouthful of cold water, if still a bit confused. Following a corridor that looped around, we wound up back at the same damned central entrance. I would never enjoy an amusement park again. Peeking cautiously around the corner, I saw we had company. Tired of inspecting the dead imps outside, pumpkins in the air, pumpkins everywhere. They roared in frustration and shot their nasty little balls of electricity at each other. Important datum. Pumpkins are immune to their own weapons. And I made note to see how they responded to being baked in a pie. Were those the goblins you meant? Arlene whispered to Rich. He shook his head, but his grim expression left no doubt that he had encountered pumpkins before. They're so freaking stupid, said Arlene contemptuously. You'd think something that was all head would have more brains, I added. The next step was obvious for those of us with brains. We dashed across the corridor to another closed door. I opened it a crack while Arlene kept watch, making sure the pumpkins didn't float back. Rich obviously hadn't received military training, but he caught on fast. Considering what he'd been through, he was a quick study. He kept pace, which was all we really needed from him at the moment. Through the door, I saw 2 pumpkins on the inside as well, hanging with a bunch of imps. Taking a deep breath, I waited until a mob of spinies marched between the door and the nearest pumpkin. Then I stepped out and fired 5 or 6 unaimed rounds. These guys didn't merit any wasted shotgun shells. Having done my damage, I popped back and braced the door. Arlene and Rich helped. One thing you can say about pumpkins, they don't let a little obstacle like imps stand between them and a target. And one thing you can say about imps, they don't like being shot by balls of electricity. We left them to each other's mercies. Over the sound of carnage, Rich shouted at me, "How'd you get them fighting each other?" "We do it all the time," said Arlene, smiling. "It's the Iago tactic." I'm impressed. I watched for the 2 in the hall, but they'd gotten tired of shooting each other and returned to shoot the imp carcasses. When the sounds behind the door died down, I slowly cracked it. I saw a lot of dead imps on the floor and the remains of one deflated pumpkin on top. I assumed the other one must be on the bottom of the pile. That's when I made a huge mistake. Chapter 20.
Now, you might be wondering how I got myself into this situation.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, how did it go?
Record scratch.
That's me.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
record
me.
Scratch.
You may be wondering. Yeah.
Oh boy.
What is?
Okay.
That's got to be originally from something, right?
It is. It's like I swear it's like an 80s or 90s comedy movie thing, and I don't know if it became popular, if there was one specific film that did it, but yeah.
All right.
Very old joke.
All right.
As we are in the era of retro.
Sure. All right. Chapter 29. Stepping inside, I didn't think to look behind the door. Straight up. The logical place for a surviving pumpkin to be waiting in ambush. And that's exactly where the bastard was. "Fly!" Arlene shouted. She was paying attention. She never used that tone of voice except when it was life and death. And in this case, the issue was my life. I threw myself on the floor just as a lightning ball fried the tip of my scalp. A run of 10mm rounds got my attention. I flipped over to see Arlene blasting away, then scrambled to my feet and pumped my shotgun at the floating head. She split left and I right, and we kept firing. When we were done, that was the deadest pumpkin I had ever seen still floating. It was almost like one of those old cartoons where the character hangs in space for several seconds before it remembers the law of gravity, and then quickly plummets to the ground. All that was missing were the sound effects. "Incoming!" yelled Rich outside the door. We hadn't forgotten the other pumpkins. We'd hoped they might have forgotten us, though. "Get in!" Arlene yelled, pulling at Rich's sleeve. He didn't need another hint. The moment he joined us, we slammed the door shut and jammed the latch with Arlene's pistol. The latch immediately rattled. God only knew what the pumpkins were using for hands.
Don't you know, Flint? They have really, really tiny hands.
Yeah, we've established this.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Don't you remember your days at college when you would see the academians pedaling around with their little feet?
Sorry, I should elaborate. This is the bad timeline where Doom Guy's a complete shithead. Instead of like a horribly concocted UAC experiment gone wrong.
Okay, I see.
Which somehow is the good timeline, but look, you played VLR, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
You played that series.
Yep. Jeez.
All right.
Look, Rich said, pointing. Protruding from under a dead imp were pieces of a box of shotgun shells along with the shells. Oh, thanks, Flynn. They may be covering all kinds of supplies, I said. The prospect didn't appeal to me, but I thought I should set a good example. Getting on my knees, I pulled the corpse away from the box, and dozens of shells went rolling as Arlene and Rich collected them. Then we all got busy moving the dead monsters and stacking them in one corner. We received our just reward. There was another functional shotgun, lots of ammo, even tools, hammers, nails, even a gas-powered chainsaw. Maybe the zombies had... there it is, finally.
Yeah.
Maybe the zombies had been used to build
Monster
condos
condo.
for imps and pumpkins.
Yes.
Oh man, we're not even... we're several tens of maps away from Monster Condo. What are you doing?
We just skipped to Monster Condo.
Whoa, we're at...
That or it's going to come up later.
All right.
Like, the book is now confirming Monster Condo is really a Monster Condo.
Then at the Monster Condo, we saw the same set of tools that we had seen in Hell previously.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah.
We even found an antique revolver for Rich. I wondered which one of us the civilian would accidentally shoot. We replaced the pistol in the latch with a handful of nails, then collected all the tools and put them into a neat pile for later use. Weapons and ammo in hand, we explored the room and found it led to a broader plaza area. Then we found a door leading into a narrow corridor. "I'll go first," I said. "Fine with me," said Arlene. Rich was more than happy to bring up the rear. No good deed goes unpunished. I realized that the moment I heard the familiar pig grunting noises, the ugly snuffling always turned my stomach and might keep me from ever eating bacon again. They didn't make us wait very long. The demons came storming down the corridor, pale pink flesh with claws and lots of teeth. Big teeth, fast teeth, slow teeth.
Teeth that plow through snow?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cold. That would hurt a lot.
Somehow, though, after the steam demon, I couldn't take the pinky seriously. The narrowness of the corridor meant I had taken point with a vengeance. No one could shoot past me. I loosed a shotgun blast. "Fall back!" I shouted, and heard Arlene and Rich doing it. Taking steps backwards, I never took my eyes off the enemy. I shot a second time, and then a third and fourth time, before dropping the first demon. I didn't like the arithmetic. Despite our extra ammo, there were more demons than we could take down at this rate. My comrades had made it back through the door as I held the corridor. Back to the wall, I kept firing, when suddenly, "Hold fire!" It was Arlene's voice, and I couldn't imagine that she'd gone nuts. I risked turning my head. She stood in the doorway holding the chainsaw. Then, with a chug, she pulled the cord. Third time was a charm, and it kicked to life, with an honest roar to drown out all but a steam demon's scream. Elbowing past me, she lifted the buzzing blade and let the teeth bite into the nearest demon. "Die, Pinky, die!" she screamed. It sounded odd, but the results were great. Red blood splashed us both, and she kept at it, screaming a war cry that might just scare a fallen angel. Arlene waded through them, working the saw, beads of sweat and drops of blood covering her face. A demon arm fell to the floor, blood exploding in a torrent. She slipped on the gore, but the movement carried her forward, and the saw buried itself in the chest of the next demon, ripping a death gurgle from the creature. I tried to get her to help. But the demon corpses were in the way. She worked the chainsaw loose, but fell backward, swinging it in a wide arc. A large demon swung its claws down hard and knocked the chainsaw out of her hand. Before Arlene could get away, another claw ripped her open. She didn't scream, but fell silently. The sight drove me mad. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I'd accepted the likelihood of our being blown to bits, but I wouldn't have us die like animals. Picking up the saw, I revved it and finished the damned job, shoving the blade into the face of who had hurt her. I lost count of how many were left, but I kept at it, swinging the chainsaw back and forth, covering the walls with gore. Finally, there was nothing left to kill. The red haze lifted, and I remembered Arlene. Turning back, I saw that Rich was with her, trying to stanch the bleeding with improvised first aid. My right sleeve was already in tatters. so it was a simple matter to rip off a strip of cloth and use it for bandages. We patched her up as best we could. Her face was pale and she was weak, but she was alive. "Can you move?" I asked. "Move or die," she wheezed, "so I'll move." We helped her stand up. I started to pick up her shotgun and pass it to Rich, but she shook her head. "That's mine," she said, reclaiming it proudly. I wasn't about to argue. We left the heavy chainsaw on the deck and staggered forward into a last chamber. There were disgusting things lying around, but as nothing was moving or alive, I gave it no further attention. In the center of the room was a teleport pad of rusted metal, designed in a heavy and cumbersome manner. It looked like an antique. "That doesn't look promising," I said. "We have no choice," Arlene answered, through clenched teeth. "We didn't have a good choice in a long, long time." All three of us stepped aboard, arms linked. Rich must have been religious. He said a prayer. Maybe because it was an old-fashioned teleporter, the experience was different from the others, like the special effects were provided by a different company. I know. Well,
An interesting visual.
sure. I noticed sounds that were new, a wind tunnel combined with an avalanche, and there was the sensation of falling, turning into floating. Then we arrived. "Wow!" Rich said. He wasn't as used to this stuff as we were. The terminus was a rock garden. Although the light was dim, we could make out the twisted, curved, and warped rocks that made me think of a giant coral reef, except the color and texture of the formations was the same as desert camo. Met our old friends, the zombies. Arlene fired first. The opportunity to fight put life back in her again. Most of these zombies weren't armed. Ex-UAC civvies, which was fine with me. Rich got off a couple of shots as well. I don't know if he hit anything. Abruptly, I realized we had a more serious problem than the Walking Dead crew. I'd almost forgotten the real spooks, the ghost things I thought of as specters. One touched my face with all the coldness of space. I hit at the horror wildly, but struck Rich instead, knocking him onto the ground. It was joined by some of its buddies, those flying metal skulls I hoped never to see again. They dive bombed us like kamikaze pilots. Then Rich found the back of a specter head by swinging his hands. He put the revolver against its skull and squeezed off a point-blank round. That got the critter's attention. It spun to deal with Rich, turning its back on me. I blew its head apart with the riot gun. Somehow, the idea of a ghost you can slice and dice appealed to me. I didn't think the nuns would approve. The damned specter went down screaming like a banshee and bleeding something that stank of ice-cold graveyards. While I was auditioning for the Ghostbusters, Arlene popped the flying skulls. They didn't require as much firepower as the pumpkins. Rich took care of the remaining zombies. "Aim for the head, just like the movie," Arlene shouted. He was doing okay for a novice, and naturally gravitated to the easiest job, but he acquitted himself well. I was happy we had found him. Finally, the wave of bad guys subsided, and we could play beachcombers. There wasn't much worth grabbing this time, however. Only a bit of ammo and a sig cow for Rich from the poorly equipped zombies. Now seemed like a good moment to find out more about Bill. Arlene thought his goblin might be a hell prince and described one, but he shook his head. Not a minotaur. It was more like a giant spider, he said. "Oh, great," said Arlene. "A new one for the files." We found out Bill Rich was a computer programmer. If we found any monsters with laptops, he would prove invaluable. To be fair, he'd done fine killing his quota of zombies. "How'd you get captured in the first place?" Arlene asked. Rich sighed. "Classic case of, this can't really be happening to us when we were..." He stopped, face turning red. When he started up again, I knew he had skipped something important. Later, I thought, We were studying the gates, and suddenly one of them on Deimos experienced a marked drop in temperature. It started glowing, too. But I thought Deimos was deserted when all this started, I interrupted. You were supposed to think that, he said. When the UAC found alien electronics and started. Then we all crowded in to see, and that's when they started coming through. The goblins. Aliens, I mean.
Oh god, he calls them goblins. Please don't
Goblins.
tell me that's because he's a computer programmer and a nerd. God damn it. Fucking hell. God.
Which ones? I asked. Which ones came first? The first thing through was one of those things you call an imp. It looked at us and grinned, and we were all frozen in total shock. We didn't know what to say or do, our first contact with an alien race, and we were speechless. All those wonderful plans about what we were going to say and how we were going to react. Well, how did the imp react? Arlene was always good at cutting through the plastic to get to the meat. Rich shook his head silently, remembering something painful. It threw one of those wads of phosphorus mucoid and killed a senior scientist and 2 Air Force captains. I was in the back, thank God. A woman screamed. I think it was Dr. Taya Graff. Then another one came through, and we panicked. Mob scene? Like Soylent Green. Arlene mm-hmmed, but I was confused. Must have been another old movie reference. If I hadn't been such a big guy, I would have been trampled. As it was, I was knocked down. I tried to get up, and they squirted some sort of webbing around me, a neurotoxin that paralyzed me. I was out of it for some indeterminate time. When I came to, the spider thing was interrogating me, and I was in a huge room surrounded by hundreds of goblins of different types, and even some of those zombies. I recognized Dr. Graff, but I couldn't tell right away she was dead and her body was just reanimated. And, well, that's the story. Speaking of which, Arlene interrupted with her own thoughts. Fly, do you notice there's a lot more zombie bodies here than anything else? Sure. So with all the noise we just made, why didn't a lot more come running? Curiosity may have killed the cat, I said, feeling flip, but never a zombie. Or maybe this is all of them. No brains, said Rich, bending over one of them. Arlene shook her head. I think it's because they never do anything they're not told, she said. They must stay in a constant communication with someone or something, and only go investigate when they receive a command. If they've been told to patrol, looking for humans, then they'll attack. Otherwise, they might march right by us and not even see us. That imp who talked to me made me wonder if imps give them orders, I said. Maybe, but we've seen zombies where there are no imps. Maybe they get standing orders. I saw a bunch of imps come running to check out a situation once where all I'd done was get the zombies firing at each other. The imps couldn't control them. Well, the pig-snuffling demons don't have any intelligence worth mentioning either, I said. If there's any more of them around, they wouldn't hear a battle over their own breathing. The skulls don't even have ears, Arlene said. Look, it's either the Hell Princes or the Steam Demons, or that thing Bill described, the spider thing. The spider creature that interrogated me, Rich said, shuddering. We'll keep that in mind. Time to move on. Hugging the right wall, we discovered a narrowing, natural corridor with more shotgun shells lying on the floor like popcorn. We scooped them up, but I was disappointed to discover that some of them were defective or spent. I was preoccupied with a handful of questionable-looking specimens when they spilled through my fingers and I dropped to my knees to recover them. That saved my life. A shotgun blast filled the space where my head had been a moment before. Zombie! Rich called out anticlimactically. No one ever shot at us with human weapons except former humans. Another shot missed high, but there was no third attempt on yours truly. Arlene turned to fire and froze. Fly? She whispered hoarsely. I stared. Jesus. It was Arlene's worst nightmare come true. Wilhelm Dodd, or what was left of him, lurched toward our little group, shifting his 12 gauge to get a better shot. Dun dun dun. Alright, you want to take the wheel, or?
I was just about to ask, yeah?
Alright.
Chapter 30. Arlene stared at him approaching, her mouth open, face pale as a ghost. I didn't want to do it, but she'd made me a promise. Feeling sick, I raised my own weapon. I knew what would happen. I would blow the effing SOB away, and Arlene would hate me for the rest of her natural life. Which might not be a very long time at that. Then a miracle happened. Just as my finger tightened on the trigger, Arlene's face suddenly hardened. The color returned. She closed her mouth. Then she pumped a shell into the receiver, shouldered her riot gun, and blew Zombie Dodd's face off. Nobody said anything. Rich took his cue from our awkward silence. I put my hand on Arlene's shoulder and she spoke. Her voice croaked like a rusty can tied behind a very old car. He was already gone, Fly. And I didn't want him to come between my buddy and me. God damn it. There was that damned peculiar lump again. I blinked. Dust in my eye, I guess, and squeezed her shoulder so hard she winced. But she didn't move to push my hand away. She knew what would happen if I were the one to kill the reworked Wilhelm Dodd, and she wouldn't allow that to happen. Evidently, our friendship was as important to her as it was to me. I'd forgotten that the zombies had ever been human. I made myself forget. But the staring face of Willie Dodd wouldn't let me get away with it any longer. He was a man, a Marine, and very important in my life. Now that he was gone, I didn't know what to think about Arlene and me. Best not to think at all, I advised me. It was good advice, and I took it. Arlene was taking it hard. Sitting on the floor, she put her head between her legs and took a series of long, deep breaths. I wanted to comfort her, but felt helpless. Arlene. I reached out to touch her. She shook her head and pulled away. Any other situation, I would have left her alone to mourn in private. But there was no privacy on Deimos except the solitude of the grave. Rich understood what was going on and kept his mouth shut. I liked him more and more. Glancing at my wristwatch, a pointless act in this place, perhaps, but it helped. God, he's just had a wristwatch this whole time.
Wait, that's a plot hole.
Wait a second. Oh, huh. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's a wristwatch powered by human souls and made out of flesh.
Oh, okay.
That or like it's tattooed onto his hand or his wrist.
Well, that makes so it's not worthless because he's in a dimension without time. It's worthless because it's a static tattoo on his arm.
Look, we're just gonna pretend that it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay.
All right. Okay.
It's leather. Well then, God, you know what? I'm done. Moving on. A pointless act in this place because it was a plot hole, but it helped somehow. A tiny act of useless normalcy. Arlene, I said, gently as I could, we've got to split. You need to pull it together. Leave me alone, she said, keeping her face turned away. Don't look at me. This didn't seem like a good time to push the envelope. I had never seen her this badly shaken. Without another word, I sat down, back to back with her, and kept watch while she got it out of her system. Rich stood a little farther up the hallway, gun out, eyes averted. Every so often her entire body shuddered. I pretended not to notice. When she finished, she wiped her eyes and stood up. Let's move, Corporal, she said. She was a PFC and I outranked her. But it was all right. The fighting tone of voice was back. Rich rejoined us and we pushed on. Up the defile was a rise where we could peek over the rock wall to our left.
Oh, sorry. Let me pause real quick.
Sure.
Something's happening in PlayStation Doom, Tower of Babel. It's It's
Tower.
the second console port to actually have this map, and I think
Oh.
it's the first time in the PlayStation version we're seeing the Cyber Demon. And it's got Mancubuses now. Just keep an eye on it. It has a different ending now, but
Ooh,
other than
okay.
that, that's it. You can continue. I'm sorry.
Man, I'm gonna want to watch now, but I don't have dual monitors these days.
Well, let's just give it a second. Then.
Alrighty. Oh man, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
Get grabbing everything I can.
I gotta
get all
find
rockets.
the Cyber Demon, of course.
Yeah, seem to be having some trouble. Man, is it just me or does the BFG feel like it has way more of a wallop on the PlayStation? Maybe it's the sounds.
Yes, probably the sounds.
And I guess the firing time too. It's a little bit slower. It feels like you've got more of a charge to it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I have noticed the Aubrey Hodges sound effect pack makes the weapons sound like they pack a little more wallop.
Yeah, everything's a lot more boomy for sure.
Yeah, there he is. He was just hiding in one of the things.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh.
Oh, you know what it is? The BFG makes a lightning bolt strike sound. Listen carefully.
It's so huge. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I just survived a rocket to the face, so there's that.
Nice. Yeah, right. It's like generic thunder horror. You know, right. Like lightning striking over the haunted house. That's what that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So yeah, the map doesn't immediately end once you kill the Cyber Demon. There's actually like an exit that they put in this version.
Neat.
Yeah.
They circumvented the arbitrary programming.
Well, not really, because it's a new kind of hard program thing.
Well, yeah, that's
true. Killing the Cyber Demons. Killing the Cyber Demon opens the exit rather than ending the map flat out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or depending on how they did coding on the console version, maybe they could just do that. I don't know. I don't imagine they could. You're probably right.
Yeah, so I guess I was looking around for some health because, well, I'm in a bad way, obviously.
Yeah, you already used your megaspheres, so...
Oh, yeah. Also worth mentioning, this map caps off Episode 3 rather than Episode 2 now, which is strange.
Oh, yeah, huh. Didn't really think about that, but we are that far along.
Yep.
Oh, and, hey,
yep, there
hello.
It is, finally.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yep, there we go. That's the changes to Tower of Babel. Hell Beneath.
Right.
Is this a new map? I don't. No, it's not. It's the start of Episode 4.
Oh goodness!
Yeah,
here we are.
Yeah, the first. I mentioned this before, but this is the first console port with Episode 4. But I don't think anything significant. There's any real significant changes other than colored lighting. So.
Right, and it still looks like trash so far.
Well,
God, I hate this episode so much.
Episode 4 is kind of hard. But
it's just, oh God, I just don't like it at all.
Yeah, sure. I kind of like it, but, you know.
I don't know.
Still the difficulty curve is bad. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to, you know, that's.
I concur, but.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I got.
Yep. All right. The architect from hell had been busy again. A huge garden stretched out before us in the shape of a right hand. We were in the thumb. Oh, I think I know where we are.
Yep.
Can you believe this one? Arlene asked. Better than a swastika, I said. The hand covered a good piece of territory, with the fingers widespread, each undoubtedly offering a wide selection of motion sensors and other surprises. The ring finger, these are all in quotes, I should add, had a bizarre wooden shack right where the ring would have been. I wondered if the pinky finger would be full of Arlene's demons. We started with the thumb. Bet the only prints we find are footprints, Rich said. I never liked stupid jokes either, but Arlene laughed. Anything to shake her out of her depression. I heard a familiar bubbling, the red lava liquid. Why is that in quotes? It's goddamn lava, Flint. Jeez. The pool was in a raised stone structure that could pass as the swimming pool from hell. I thought I saw a switch just below the lava line. What's that? Rich asked. Toxic yech, Arlene answered. Haven't you seen it before? Rich shook his head. You've been lucky, she went on. Fly and I have been through an ocean of the stuff. Looks like lava, Rich said, proving an old adage about great minds in small circles. Is it hot? Not enough, I said, but it can still kill you. The switch teased me, like a piece of plastic sticking up from a bowl of red oatmeal. You know, I mused, that switch is awfully tempting. I found a rock and pitched it at the button, jumping back. I didn't want any of that spit splashing on me. I should have tried out for the majors when the 12-year strike began. First try was the charm. We heard a loud click, and a door rotated open, revealing our latest take-home pay. Another AB-10, and far more important, a pair of beautiful medkits. I would have preferred another of those magical blue health spheres, but this would definitely do in a pinch. But my heart sunk when I picked up the first one and saw the telltale signs of imp. This was not a virgin find. Tooth marks explained why most of the drugs were missing. Apparently, the imps liked the taste. A hurried investigation of the kits showed that barely enough drugs had survived for Arlene. Rich helped me gather together what we needed. After cleansing her wounds with special care for the bad gash in her chest, I gave her painkillers and put on a fresh bandage. Rich seemed embarrassed, swabbing at her ample naked breasts.
Amble.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Whoops. But titillation was the last thing on any of our minds. How's that, I asked. Better, she said, but I could tell from her strained voice and pale face that she was far from perfect. Better would have to do. The dregs of the drugs proved a bonus for Rich. He didn't look so hot either. Coming down from the ceiling and snapping out of shock so quickly couldn't be good for anyone, and he'd been holding his own in combat instead of resting. I wish I could have offered him a needle of the stimulant I'd used back in the marble room on Demos, but stimulant seemed to have been what the imps were after. The vials were all empty. Leaving the thumb, we descended on the palm as if storming heaven and began a serious house cleaning, sliding from rock to rock, blasting anything in our way, and scooping up anything useful. The opposition was feeble, hardly worth mentioning except to say that they died quickly. Arlene lucked into finding a rocket launcher of her very own. Then we helped her locate the little battery-sized rockets that were nearby. She collected 7 of the little darlings, and I showed her where to stick them and taught her the forbidden lore of proximity fuses and firing rings. We were so happy about the find that we must have sent out a subverbal signal. Monsters don't like humans being happy. We were ambushed by 6 former comrades at arms and ex-UAC workers, 4 imps, 3 demons, 2 flying skulls, and a partridge in a pear tree. I'm lying about the pear tree. Thanks, Flint. In the ensuing carnage, Arlene used up every rocket, but at least she could never again say she hadn't been checked out on the launcher. Arlene and I barely worked up a sweat. Rich was getting good at the game. He was a good draft pick. He'd been doing some thinking that he was eager to share with us. Arlene still seemed numb from the discovery of Wilhelm, but I was ready to get to know this new Rich better. So as we surveyed our last gaggle of X's, I encouraged him to speak his piece. He'd already told us that the computers were his area, but he'd been overly modest. Evidently, he was a bona fide computer genius kidnapped from Deimos by the aliens. We had already decided that the gates were hypermass transportation devices. If they really worked, and weren't just some elaborate failed experiment from millennia past, it would blow every physics theory we had out the wash. We discovered they responded to bursts of high-energy microwaves. Their circuits responded for several seconds after each burst. Not electronics exactly, but something involving direct manipulations of particle streams. As Rich held court, Arlene perked up and started paying attention. She was getting that expression she wore when a boyfriend betrayed her. Suddenly, her mouth dropped. You mean you activated the gates yourselves? You turned them on? Jesus Christ, you brought those things here! Arlene had a romantic side that tried to believe whatever nonsense officials put out as the truth du jour. I'd gotten over that sort of silliness long before I joined the Corps. It wasn't a very long-term healthy attitude for a jarhead. I think we brought these aliens through the gate ourselves, in a way, Rich admitted pathetically. But it was an accident. Ah, an accident, I snorted. Well, that certainly relieves everyone of any personal responsibility. Rich continued, not noticing the irony. I think, now, that whatever these creatures were, they were listening to the gates. Maybe they were trying to fire it up from their end until we answered the phone. They couldn't do it. But yeah, I guess we let them in. Anyway, I don't believe these are the creatures that built the gates. That's what we figured, I said. You got anything more substantial than a gut feeling? The UAC has engravings that the gate builders left behind. They are as old as the gates, showing what the gate builders looked like. He paused, trying to find the right words. And? We asked as one. You're not going to believe this, he started. After what we've been through, we'll believe anything, I said, launching a preemptive strike. Well, they look like something out of H.P. Lovecraft, he said. I knew it, Arlene said. She still looked furious. Am I the only person in the solar system who never read this guy? I asked, irritated. The first one of you to talk about anything eldritch is going to get a rocket right between the eyes. Rich looked at me like he thought I might be serious, but a big smile from Arlene put him at ease. He swallowed hard and said, They have snake-like trunks with multi-limbed upper torsos, no visible head, and they'd have to move like sidewinders. How big? Arlene wanted to know. Up to 10 meters long, he answered. They didn't say it, but I just know they were both thinking, Ooh, eldritch. I agreed. I bet my life we haven't met the real intelligence behind this. Arlene joined in. That's something more value than that, Fly. What value do you think an insurance company would put on us? I don't gamble, Rich said with a straight face, and I have met the, what'd you call it? The mastermind. That spider thing. It's in charge, I'm positive. Tell us more, I requested. He shuddered. I knew how he felt. Theory was one thing, close contact another. So far as I can tell, the spider thing has real intelligence, he said. It spoke in clear English. I wasn't about to doubt him after my experience with the imp back on Phobos. What did it say? Asked Arlene. Well, first it started asking me questions. It started with a simple yes, no, true, false. I tried to lie a few times, but it already knew a lot, and I got caught. What was its response to a lie? Rich shrugged. Didn't seem to care emotionally, but it punished me. Horrible stuff, but all hallucination. You know how you're having a dream, and you dream that you're absolutely terrified? The spider mind thing can do that. I can see why people who encountered one of those, maybe thousands of years ago, could think they died and gone to hell. He shuddered at the memory. But the fears were all unreal, and after a while I realized I could take it. You just have to accept being afraid like you've never been afraid before. But if it can't break you with fear, it doesn't know what to do next. What did it do to you? It started ordering me to reprogram all the Phobos and Deimos equipment. When I refused, it tortured me with more and more fear itself, which is what I started calling the hallucinations. When that didn't work, it hung me from the ceiling with its webbing like it was saving me for later. I got the impression it needed to find out more about humans so it could figure out how to crack us. Meanwhile, I think it went looking for a more cooperative programmer. I'm sure it would have killed me when it found one. To find out more about humans, I repeated, feeling a chill. Arlene, do you think all this crap that's been thrown against us? She glared at me, then glared at the deck. She knew what I meant. She knew it made sense. We had been the secondary information sources. Had we given the mastermind anything useful? Matter day, I hope not. Describe the monster, Arlene said. Rich gritted his teeth. It's like a huge, brain-like thing inside a mechanical, spider-like body. What about the weapons? I asked. Ringed with more weapons than you can imagine, Rich said. I doubted that. I'd reached the point where I could imagine quite a lot. Actually, I was glad to receive Rich's news. A leader alien meant we had something to really fight. I was exhausted cutting off the inexhaustible limbs of his army. I was ready for a general. The new information cheered up Arlene as well, bringing color back to her cheeks. She and I didn't need to talk about it. We were on the same wavelength. We shared our theories with Rich, especially the one about Deimos as a spaceship and whatnot. We had discovered about the hyperspace tunnel. He had already guessed a lot. Then we continued our journey up the ring finger. Bleh. Then we continued our journey up the ring finger, where we'd seen the shack. We ran into one specter, hardly a match for the three of us. I couldn't help contrasting our casualness now with my terror at seeing my first zombie. Nowadays, I was almost Blaze. Blaze?
Blasé.
Blasé, thank you. Sorry, that's my great English skills right there. We prowled our way up to the ancient, crumbly wooded hut. Hell needed a facelift. Check out the lock, Arlene said, grinning like a girl with a Christmas of accessories for her favorite doll. I love these. Why? I asked. They take an old-fashioned key. I'll help you look for it, Rich said before I could. Hell with that, she said. I've already got one. She dismantled one of the pistols. Then she took the gas expander stabilizer spline for a flexor and... What the fuck?
What's going on here?
Oh boy. Okay, well,
Right.
We either got into some real bullshit or there's things about guns I don't know. I'm gonna guess the former. This sounds like bullshit. Dismantled one of the pistols, then she took the gas expander stabilizer spline for a flexor and the fixed end of the magazine advanced spring for a tensor. Oh, talking about lockpicking, not a gun. Okay. It took her just 5 minutes to pick the lock. Where do you learn that? Rich asked. I read a lot of comic books. You need help putting that back together? I asked, with a straight face. I couldn't resist teasing her a little. She rolled her eyes and reassembled the piece in nothing hat. She made us wait until she was good and ready to open the shack door. Inside was a switch. Surprise, surprise, surprise. As our patron Saint Gomer might say. Arlene did the honors, lowering the wall ahead, revealing a hidden platform containing a dozen dead, mangled, squashed imps, and a teleport pad. It's about that time, she said. I want a new travel agent, I said. We were right back where we'd started after crawling down the hyperspace tunnel. The only improvement was that we still had our clothes and weapons. And Rich, of course.
Oh darn.
Yep.
Teleported
Chapter
and
31.
killed Rich.
Yep. Well, time to telefrag the civilian. Deja, said Arlene. Vu, I said. Deja Thoris, Rich said, and Arlene snorted. They were speaking some kind of secret code. I wasn't going to worry about it. Starting all over was something to worry about. As before, I inserted my arm up to the elbow in the membranal switch and opened the door. Inside, we found Weems and Yoshida in the same room, same position, still joined head to head, and still holding their pistols in exactly the same position as before, clothed. We stared for a long time, and poor Bill Rich had no idea why Arlene and I were so stunned. He started to examine the bodies, but Arlene gently pulled him back before he could see what they'd done to them. This is worse than the monsters, I said. We passed by and crawled through the narrow tunnel, a very tight fit for Rich. When we reached the end, we faced the same 7 imps as before, only this time we used shotguns. At least that was an improvement. We popped the same door. Out came 2 pumpkins, just like last time. The pumpkins were pretty much the same, except for varying sizes. Arlene used the AB-10, and I finished them off with a shotgun, our favorite tactic. Rich made a comment that was new. They'd look better with 2 burning candles for eyes instead of that headlight in the center. No one argued. We started to bypass the collapsing pier, going for the other door instead. But suddenly Arlene said, "Fly, I have a feeling we should duplicate our actions as precisely as we can." Arlene, last time the demons creamed you in that narrow hallway, I reminded her. She nodded, a bit shaky at the thought. She wasn't in any condition to survive a bout like that again. I pursued the point. We've already deviated by not taking Weems and Yoshida's pistols, and by killing the pumpkins outside. I know, she said. I don't have any good argument except for female intuition. I was about to make a crack about the unlikelihood of that particular attribute in Arlene Sanders, but I saw that she was deadly serious. She glared at me until I saw reason. Give me a moment. I need to blink a little bit. Eyes are getting a bit dry, staring at the screen.
All right.
Oh, there we go. I turned on the brightness. Oh, that helps so much. Okay. Trying not to go completely blind here. Right. Sorry, I need to find my spot again.
We left Rich in the corridor.
Yep. We left Rich in the corridor. He wasn't in shape for what we had in mind. Of course, after we cleared a path for him, he could stroll through in relative safety. We ran like bats out of Deimos down the pier, this time charging through the illusory wall of flame and blowing away the imps we knew to be on the other side. There was another reason I'd insisted we leave Rich behind, one I kept to myself. I half thought we'd find a second Bill Rich hanging from the ceiling here. We didn't, and I never brought the subject up to Arlene or Rich. God only knows whether they thought of it themselves. Probably, but they kept quiet as well. We slipped back by the secret corridor and used the same trick on the pumpkins and imps inside the room. It was a lot easier when we knew what to expect. This time I knew where the last pumpkin would be floating in ambush when I opened the door, and I enjoyed not being surprised. Pop goes the pumpkin. Crossing the patio, Arlene grabbed the chainsaw and revved it up, but she made me promise to start shooting the moment she lost it this time. Except that this time, since she knew what to expect, she didn't slip and wasn't out of position where a demon could knock the chainsaw out of her hand. She ducked, she weaved, she sawed all the demons to death. It was hard to believe she'd been seriously injured only a short time before, but having a chance to get it right the second time did wonders for her psychological recovery. We continued up the narrow corridor to the teleporter. So, what happens now? I asked. Back to the hand again? I should have kept my hole shut. We stepped aboard, but instead of teleporting, the walls of the chamber lowered into the floor, leaving us standing behind some pillars in a very wide open courtyard. A neat row of UAC boxes stretched across the courtyard before us like a skyscraper on its side. Every box held a 5-pack of rockets. All the rockets in the world. There was also another launcher. Oh, hello. A silver lining like this couldn't possibly arrive without an accompanying thundercloud. We heard the thunder of the heaviest feet in all the monsterdom. Another lovely steam demon, and there weren't any convenient 0G zones around this time. What the hell is that? Rich whispered, crouching behind a pillar. That, my friend, is a steam demon. 15 feet tall, long horns, a missile launcher for an arm. Oh, one of those, Rich said, nodding. You know about them? Asked an incredulous Arlene. Sure. I've just never seen one before. They ripped off my programming for an ore crusher to run the creature. His tone of voice was what you hear in small claims court, offended about business as usual. Any way to sabotage it? Rich frowned in thought. A steam demon was large enough to inspire frowns in anyone. If you can get me around back, maybe, he said. That's where the missile feeder is. Worth a try, I said. I looked at Arlene and she nodded. We dashed out to either side of the pillars as the steam demon spotted us. It was it was as ugly as last time, but not as terrifying when frozen in indecision about which target to attack. While it made up its mind, assuming it had one, Arlene and I fired rockets from opposite directions. At last, the steam demon chose the prettier target and raised its missile-launching hand. Arlene saw what was coming and dived behind her pillar. 3 small cruise missiles struck dead on, shattering the pillar. I jumped out and shot the sucker over and over until I got its attention. As the big ugly mother deigned to notice me, I popped behind my own column. Arlene repeated the same process, out from her cover and blasting away. It was kind of like dealing with the playground bully, where the stakes were real. The steam demon proved that it had a mind by passing our little intelligence test. It stomped closer to the pillars, cutting off our angle. Arlene was ready for this. She ran backwards, zigzagging, popping off an occasional rocket. Time for Rich's plan. While all of this was happening, Rich and I were moving into position when the monster, finally standing with its back to the pillars, lining up a fatal shot for Arlene, I interlaced my fingers, bent down, and let Rich climb aboard. Heavy as he was, I could barely boost him up high enough to grab the back of Godzilla for the ride of his life. He shoved his hand into the missile-loading machinery up to the elbow. I ditched him, as agreed beforehand, and leapt into a safer position to try something else in case Rich failed. Arlene was still dodging around as if she were an actress at a producer's convention. She was too busy now to even take a shot. Besides, she wasn't going to risk hitting Rich. As for the behemoth, it hadn't even noticed that someone was riding on its back. Then, Rich ripped out a cable, and the steam demon noticed. It jammed its left arm back at an impossible angle. It could just barely brush Rich, but it couldn't bring much force against him, not enough to dislodge him. The hand with the launcher had a better angle. The steam demon got back, pointed it at Rich, and I held my breath, expecting Armageddon. But at the last moment, rarely used self-preservation circuitry kicked in, preventing the big guy from firing into its own missile supply. The steam demon alternately swatted at Rich from both sides until our man finished his task and jumped down. Then, Bill Rich started running, heading in my direction. The steam demon turned around with great deliberation and aimed its missile launcher at Rich's head. This was point-blank range. Rich would have never have to worry about a hat again. The monster fired. We heard a loud, empty click. Nothing happened. Rich kept running. The steam demon kept clicking, pointing, and clicking, as if it couldn't fathom the situational evolution. It flunked that intelligence test. Arlene didn't waste the opportunity. She started pumping at it from behind. The poor bastard turned and aimed its useless armator. Click! I shot it 3 times with my own compact rockets. I kept at it, squeezing the ring until my palm became numb. After what must have been 25 direct hits at least, the Titan finally staggered and fell to the deck like a skyscraper under demolition. I kept firing and it got weaker and weaker. Then Arlene got smart, ran around back, and pumped a couple into the missile supply. The steam demon's last words were pretty spectacular. I was surprised the entire hyperspace tunnel didn't collapse. I was tired, but Arlene and Rich were still full of fire. We went back the way we'd come, but there had been a change in architecture. Walls no longer stood where they had. Floor plans were different. A room that had been a small empty antechamber was now a huge room with the equivalent of a beach, against which red waves of toxin washed relentlessly. "Look!" Arlene said. I followed her, pointing her finger to the unwelcoming sight of a hell prince wading through the crimson toxic surf. After playing patty cake with the steam demon, a minotaur didn't seem that serious. But back on Phobos, Arlene had ripped through a crack to avoid one, and I'd been almost paralyzed with fright. How times change. But it wouldn't do to be careless. We took it left, right, with rockets until it was slagged. It made one gratifying work before dying. The long, narrow corridor where Arlene had chainsawed the demons was now on the edge of a triangular room full of specters. We gave that a pass. rushing through before the lumbering invisible pinkies could avenge their more visible cousins. We beat cleats back to the door leading to the central corridor and, slamming it, jamming the latch with some 10mm rounds. We didn't see anything in the corridor outside, so we went back along the secret passage by which we had exited from the room behind the illusory wall. From that room, we could see that the lava lake now had a wall at the back, and next to it a corridor that offered the possibility of dry land. I was about to slog across the corridor when Rich got into the act. "Why don't you use the toxin protection suit?" he asked, pointing. "What? Where?" "See those coveralls?" "Huh." I pulled one over my armor and boots before making a dash through the crud to the island behind it. There I found the damnedest rifle I'd ever seen. Huge, gyro-stabilized, and with a gigantic battery backpack. Hoisting it up, I was pleased that it was a lot lighter than it looked and considerably less unwieldy. Grinning like I'd won a bowling league trophy, I humped back to where the others were waiting. It was a good thing I followed Rich's advice on the protective suit. The toxic glop ate away at the material with a constant low hiss company. I started feeling lousy by the time I was out of the stuff, but at least I wasn't in pain. Arlene reached out to help me climb from the red pool. "Get it off," she said. "Your suit is disintegrating." I eagerly stripped for her. She noticed a telltale bulge under the suit. "What's this?" she asked. I looked at it. It's a big freaking gun, I guess. "What's it do?" "I hate to say it, but we'd better find out in combat. I don't want to waste power." "Rich?" He looked at the thing and shook his head. My skin was tingling after dumping the suit. We three exchanged that special expression that is only shared by those who skirt close to death. We touched hands. More than a handshake. More like taking a secret oath. There was nowhere to go but back out to the courtyard, and now I was glad we'd already popped the 2 pumpkins. We found another difference in the pattern. A new door next to the old, this one locked. Arlene dropped to her knees and fiddled with it. "Bad news," she said finally. "I can't pick this one." That was annoying. I'd about convinced myself that she could handle any of these. Surveying the scenery, I noticed a third door on the far side of the courtyard. This place was turning into a hotel lobby. "Let's try over there," I suggested. We skulked through the doorway and entered a dark corridor. I took point, and no one argued. I suppose I'd become careless. I didn't notice the teleport pad until I'd stepped on it. This one was quick, but it made me feel like I wanted to throw up. Suddenly I was standing on a triangular platform directly behind 2 pumpkins, not 2 meters away.
Perfect timing.
End of chapter. Yeah.
This is a new level, Twilight Descends. This
Hey.
is actually part of a string of all new maps for the PlayStation version that lead up to the finale of Doom 1 up into Doom 2.
What? A string? There's multiple?
Yeah, there's a couple of new maps right in a row near the end here.
Hey, very nice.
Yeah, it's got a nice hell box room, I guess. That's different.
Huh. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Oh, it's like the bunker in that one map. Walk in, turn left. There's a bunker full of shotgun dudes and zombies.
Okay, yeah,
to
sure.
Right. To your right, or I guess to ahead, there's chain gunners.
I'm actually not grasping what you're giving me there.
It's immediately after that, down the hallway, there's both a box maze and there's also a part of the map with like specters and a slime pit that you don't have to deal with at all. There's a lot of UAC boxes on that map.
Container area, the box maze?
No, you don't start in a box maze. Might be Doom 2. Well, yeah, it is Doom 2. There's chain gunners.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we got this box room contains the blue key, and oddly enough, I found it easier the first time than the second time playing this map. Spoilers: this map will show up again in another console port. Dun dun dun.
It's
Well,
just that wonderful PlayStation hardware, obviously.
yeah, obviously.
Yep.
I don't know why I went the wrong way because the blue key was behind those boxes. I guess I'm just blowing smoke.
Uh,
Look,
yeah.
I recorded this like over a year ago at this point. It's kind of crazy.
Right? Well, to be fair, uh, I wouldn't have done any better. Like that's my regular is I didn't find anything in this room. I'm just gonna go wander around aimlessly for an hour.
Sure. Like, I really wanted that chain gun too. This is basically my first time experiencing this map because I've never had the PlayStation version before.
Right?
Yeah.
Crazy thought. New Doom content for the first time in many, many years. Sorry, new original Doom content
Well,
for you.
you say many. Well, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
was gonna say you say many years, but we're still in like '95.
Uh-huh. I meant specifically
Yeah,
towards you
yeah.
and
For
your
me,
experience
yeah.
playing Doom
I
games.
get what you're saying now. It makes
Uh-huh.
more sense that way.
uh,
So now that I've been flummoxed and I searched everywhere but behind those boxes I could have jumped behind a long time ago, hopefully I'll go back and actually do that.
or you'll walk back to the pool and no.
See,
Okay.
this is why I edit the videos cuz there's a lot of nonsense like this.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought to do it.
might have wizened up a bit.
Maybe I'm getting my runs confused. And what I thought was the good run was actually the second run. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
there's a blue key right
Yep,
there.
there it is.
Hey, that's how
Yeah.
you do it.
As per the focus map for, oh, maybe that's the map you were thinking of, with the
Oh.
windows with the shotgun guys behind it, and you get
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I finally know what map you were talking about.
Yeah, and there's like a torch in the corner where you go through the door, and then you hit a switch and turn around, and there's box mazes, and yeah, a red skull key I think on top of the boxes, or maybe blue. I don't remember.
There was a red card key.
Oh, red card key. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was a skull key.
I don't know.
Probably because we just looked at one. Anyways.
Yeah. This is freaking pumpkins, man. Red pumpkins.
To be fair, on my monitor, they do look a little bit orange.
Yeah, okay, that's
It's
fair.
it's the PlayStation colors, and then my monitor's color scheme is,
Yeah.
I guess, a bit warm.
Well, if you have like Flux installed, they'd probably look orange.
Oh, if I have it installed, but it's not turned on right now.
That I do too. Same thing here.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah. I just
Green lightning.
gibbed like 10 zombies. It's great.
Oh my god. Here's a crazy thought for you. We talked about the alternate reality where Coffee was raised playing a version of Doom where the plasma rifle shot green plasma and the arachnotrons shot blue plasma, right?
Right.
What if in that version of Doom the BFG was also blue?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about. I remember back in the days, like when I first started browsing for Doom mods. Oh, I think this is a secret. Hey, nice. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I really like the lighting here
yeah,
too.
Slightly off wood texture. That's a good secret indicator, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I also think this level has a secret exit. So on top of it being a new level, it has a secret exit leading to another new level. And
Wow.
then, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, really back-ended with the new content for Doom 1 year, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I'm coming up to that supercharge we saw earlier, maybe.
Hey, excellent.
I guess
All
not.
right.
Unless that's... man, see, this is great, because I barely know anything about this map. It's kind of exciting.
Right?
I think that switch might have done something to lower the supercharge. I don't know. I guess we'll find out later, though. I'm pretty sure I get it at some point. It's just a matter of when. I mean, unless I didn't, then it's completely,
Yeah.
a lost cause.
Yeah, your experience playing this map is like my experience playing most Doom maps all the time.
Well, hopefully, that
I
you
mean, I've been playing through more of them, but it's still just a matter of I don't have any muscle memory on them yet.
right, yeah, because I've played like Doom 1 and 2 a million times.
Right, where
Um,
I've been dragged through co-op slash played through them 2, 3 times each, maybe.
right, yeah. Um, Man, this just brings me back to elementary school where in the fifth grade we would just tell each other, you would tell me about Halo and then I would tell you about Doom.
Yeah, oh man, I do remember that. Oh
Yeah, that was a long time ago, man.
man, and Halo was a heck of a thing when it came out, but I don't know. I still think I'd rather go back and play Doom a lot more.
Right? Um,
Halo still aged pretty well too. Super well, like the first Halo. It's still I'd play it over any other,
right.
which is kind of strange. Like they nailed it on the first try and then they fucked it up.
Well,
Good job, Bungie.
you win some and you lose some. Also, that Switch did not lower that supercharge. I guess it led to progress.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that works too.
I don't know. I'm definitely getting vibes of like chunks from different maps on this one.
Right? Yeah, I didn't even
Like
get
that
that
big
impression
cage
in.
area, the window with the shotgun guys in it, and the Baron.
Yeah.
Which I mean, there wasn't a Baron in it last time, but
Well, that's true, but then again, this is PlayStation Doom, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
oh, I knew you were gonna say that. Damn it,
Have you ever watched Whose Line?
dude. Who hasn't?
I don't know.
Whoever hasn't probably lives a very depressed life.
Whose Line rules. I love Colin Mochree's Velociraptor.
Oh my goodness, I vaguely think I know what you're talking about, but it's like there's not enough, and also there's so many episodes of Whose Line Is It
Yeah, I would
anyways.
just like years ago. I would just watch that for hours on YouTube. It was great.
Right? Yeah, no, I remember when I realized Whose Line was on YouTube and just went, oh, this is the best day.
Yeah.
Best one.
Did you know they rebooted that like a couple years ago?
What? No, I did not know that.
Yeah, they rebooted it, and I never watched any of it, and I'm kind of I kind of wish I had. I don't know if it's still going, but there's a
Oh.
couple new episodes out there at least.
I think some research is going to be done when this stream's over.
Yeah, you gotta make audacity.wad and also see if Whose
Oh,
Line is
man.
still on.
Oh boy. Are we going to drop that in the thread right away, or is that just going to be something so terrible that we? No, you know what? We'll demo it when it comes out, right?
Sure.
Put it in the timeline.
Oh boy,
Oof.
one of those late mid 2017 wads. Tell you what.
Oh yeah, man. It's just speaking of retro, that's when all the joke wads started to come back. It was weird,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere, like a bat out of hell.
Yep. Also, now that I've completed the Toxin Lake firefight, I've got my yellow key and can go back to the chainsaw that I still can't pick up because I already have one.
Right.
Look, I don't know my way around this map yet.
Yeah. Yet.
Maybe someday I'll be familiar with it, but I doubt I'll ever play this as much as any of the Doom or Doom 2 maps.
Well, if I could get PlayStation, I feel like that might be a thing.
Oh man,
PlayStation Doom on PC, right?
that is a thing, and I have played it.
Oh man, I definitely
but
want to go play that.
I had another thought that what if we somehow got two PlayStations and got co-op working on that?
Oh man, yeah, I've got a PS2, but not a
I
PS1.
don't know. I could probably pick up another PlayStation real cheap on Amazon or something.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. That'd be when we need a link
Yeah, and a
cable
link
and
cable.
two
That would
monitors.
be sick to get
That
working.
would be
Just
yes. Oh, could probably do Duke Nukem stuff too
oh yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
the Duke Nukem Total Meltdown thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. We did need two PlayStations for that.
Yeah, we could play episode 5 and fight the Cyber Keef. You'll see. You'll see. It's
Cyber Keith?
yeah, it's weird.
No kidding.
It's really weird.
Okay, I trust you on that
I
one.
don't know what they were going for, but they
Cyber Keith?
they called it the Cyber Keef.
I have no. I can't even begin. Like, I just.
No,
Cyber Keith.
yeah. Well,
Okay,
you'll see. We'll all see.
we'll all see. Okay. Uh-oh. Time to stop using the rocket shotgun.
Yeah. Well, luckily they were almost dead.
Okay.
All right, jerks. And I think I don't even need to go this way because I was going to the secret exit anyway. So
Yep.
this is just icing on the cake. Well, going the full width and breadth of the level just because I haven't been there before. Hey, that wall by the chainsaw finally lowered. That's great.
Hey, cool. Makes things easy.
Yeah. Well, I guess it'd be convenient for co-op, you know.
Or just in general, like backtracking for picking stuff up. Like, oh, there's health back at the beginning that I didn't grab, or like that green armor if you ended up needing that.
Right. Not feeling the shotgun sniping nightmare specter. So hey, there's that supercharge finally.
Hey.
Jeez.
Cool.
It wasn't even like a secret or anything. It was just out of reach for a really long time.
Eh. Oh boy.
Well, that's
Yes.
what they invented Biffage for. There we go.
Green lightning. Oh, dang it. Freaking
Well.
specters.
You know, that's how they get you.
Yep. Oh, hello.
Still kind
Nightmare
of like
Pinky.
the inverted color demon. It's
Mhm.
kind of really weird looking, but you know, it's
It's weird looking in a good way.
sure. Yeah.
It just works.
All right. I think I was kind of hoping there that wasn't the exit because, well, I had to know where the secret exits were, so I looked them up beforehand, and I knew this one had one. Yeah, I think that's the exit. So
Okay.
now I'm gonna go to the secret exit, which is beyond the red key area, if I'm not mistaken, with the poison lake. Somewhere in this
Makes
area.
a little bit of sense, yeah.
Yeah. I also like how the game runs so much smoother in auto map mode.
Right? Doesn't have to render anything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just this whole area now that's open and a secret
Oh.
door. Yep, there we go.
Oh man. You know, playing this back in the day, this would act like, you know, compared to the kind of horror we've seen since PlayStation Doom came out, this is nothing. But back then, this was probably legitimately terrifying.
Right, red strobe
And
lights.
even then, yeah, and even then, playing it today, it still is can be kind of nervous because it's like, well, I can't see anything.
So
And red
you gotta-
low light is like the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what you got to do is you got to press the torch and then run really fast to the other side to this elevator, and there's your secret exit.
Nice, with scrolling exit text.
Yep, takes you to the marshes.
Oh.
This is an interesting map.
Do they live in Innsmouth?
You know, I don't know.
Sorry, that's a Lovecraft joke.
I recognize Innsmouth, but I don't know what that has to do with marshes. I'm not very
The
well
Marsh
read
family.
on.
They're like they're basically the beginning of a long bloodline of fish people.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the fish people from Innsmouth are, I believe, all incestuously from the Marsh
Oh,
bloodline.
great.
Yeah, Good stuff.
Awesome.
Not really, but
So there were technical difficulties with this map, believe it or not. I
I
died.
can believe it.
I died on this map.
Oh, Oh,
Don't
okay.
don't tell mom and dad.
Is that what you mean by technical difficulties, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I would say that dying in the middle of something is really a technical difficulty. It's not, not a game changer. It's not like a severe accident or emergency. It's just technical difficulty.
Right. So the
Go back to
marshes.
the hospital, drain out all your blood, put it back in you, and you're alive again.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
pretty sure there was an
Right?
episode of House about that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's legit.
Uh,
So yeah, the marshes. You got this swampy area full of buildings, and you gotta kill this cyber demon guy.
okay, that's sure.
Yeah, got to deal with him, and
You have to shoot Duracell batteries at them.
yeah, some good old AA power right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say that's the power of Pine Sol, but that's just completely non sequitur.
No lemons here. It's a marsh, but I don't know if a marsh smells like bitter lemons.
Yeah, man.
Character development. Fucking hell.
Jeez. Thanks, Flynn Taggart.
Yeah.
So I think I could have been, going around checking out these buildings, trying to get some ammo, but I had bad experiences with that in previous lives. So I'm just going to kill him with the shotgun.
Nice.
Got
yes.
it.
That's pretty satisfying,
particularly the building, it was on my left, it had an open window. Don't go in that one if you can avoid it. You'll see it in the death reel.
Okay.
It's kind
I
of
trust you.
Yeah. I think this map has a super shotgun in it somewhere.
Oh, man. What?
But yeah, I might be mistaken on that.
Oh, God, that would be... Oh, man. That would be weird-ish. I mean, these are all new levels.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, my God. Whoa. Whoa. We have a super shotgun in Doom 1.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Even though we've completed all the Doom 1 levels on this CD, we've got a super shotgun in Doom 1.
Oh, my goodness. This is pretty satisfying
Yeah.
for reasons. I can't... You know what? Right, there's... Wait, no. There were chain gunners, weren't there?
Yeah, chain
there
gunners,
were.
pain
That's
elementals.
Right. Pain element. Yeah, okay. That's right. Yeah, so, oh man. Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is what you would call Doom 2 prequel territory, I guess.
Yeah,
so
sure.
it's okay. Yeah.
It's the secret episode 4.5.
Yes. I'm all right with that explanation.
But yeah, the super shotgun, it's a bit strange. Well, not in how it works, just the graphic. It looks, I don't know, it looks like they took out some of the columns of pixels. It looks a little narrower.
It looks thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this is what the map looks like without the Fulbright. It's kind of dark and hard to see, which is why they gave you the Fulbright.
Okay, so it's like a dark swamp. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a neat concept for a Doom map, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Threshold of Pain. Man.
I like these map names, not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're pretty hardcore.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
this already feels familiar, but Doom 2 familiar.
Sure, I guess so. It's.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. They definitely shaved down the shotgun barrel a little bit.
Yeah, it's like they just cut out some vertical slices from the sprite or something.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just how it ended up. Oh God. Are you also seeing that deformed lump on the left side?
Yeah, it's really weird. Maybe they scaled it in paint or something.
Yeah, I think that something got fluffed up with it for sure.
Who knows?
Didn't come out right.
But yeah, I don't remember this map being particularly memorable. I think there's one more after that. After this, if not, this map's the finale of Doom 1 on the PlayStation.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of caves in this one, and there's some outdoor areas, if I remember correctly. I had to, take time to choose the correct weapon for this job.
Yep.
I can't help but wonder what kind of things Coffee would yell at me for. I just used the chain gun on the pinky. He doesn't like that, but he's not here.
We finally explained that to him. Remember?
Oh yeah, has he
Pain
seen our?
chance.
Yeah, he's seen our site on that finally.
Yes.
Also, really weird that the plasma gun is on slot 7 because they had to shift everything past the shotgun up because of the super shotgun.
Yeah, I was going to actually bring that up. I think it's really strange to see the weapon counts in your and have 8.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's 7.
What are you doing, Williams?
But at the same time, the symmetry is nice too.
Sure, yeah.
But they didn't give us a 0 for the chainsaw, so what's going on, man?
Yeah, chainsaw is still 1.
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically your hands don't count as a weapon. You just inherently have them all the time, whether or not they're holding something.
Well, I mean, in source ports, you can take away the fists.
You can. That's true.
I'm not actually sure how to interpret that now, but...
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting proposition.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Doom Guy just doesn't feel like punching demons today.
Maybe he's
got like arthritis.
Yeah, he broke his hand or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got like a cast,
Yeah.
But then not when he's holding the pistol, which they didn't take away for some reason.
I mean, you can't see it under the gloves.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now I'm just picturing that Doom Guy has, like, the gloves are a separate thing from his hands. I mean, technically, when you're punching, you're not wearing the gloves. So.
Oh, well, I never thought about that actually.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you just. So do you think he's got to like slip off his gloves and put on brass knuckles every time he puts away his gun? Like, oh, it's beating time, and he just like the gloves come off, and he's got brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's kind of badass actually.
Is he
I'm
wearing
okay with
brass
this.
knuckles under the gloves, or?
No, I don't think so, because they'd be poking through. Well, and if he was wearing brass knuckles under the gloves, he would have a really hard time bending his fingers around the handles for his weapons.
That's true.
Or like gripping shells for the shotgun, or it would be a bad time, I think.
Well, yeah, that's true. Man, there sure are a lot of dark caves in this map. I don't know if you've noticed. Good news, though.
Whoa.
There's the great outdoors. Well,
the great outdoors and the sky is on fire.
Yeah, and then, the wall immediately closes in front of me.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I think I might have spent a while trying to figure out where to go in this map.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, it does seem quite big so far.
It's kind of.
Lots of large corridors, too, very wide.
Yeah.
Lots of space, lots of room. Huh.
I just thought of Tommy Wiseau when you said the room there. Or said room. I just added the subconsciously. I was listening to The Disaster Artist again recently.
Oh, I still need to listen to that.
Yeah, it's good. I want to see the movie. Has that come out yet?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it has.
Yeah, right?
If not, I feel like it will be soon.
Yeah.
Yep. So back to Doom Guy being able to take away his hands. With the revelation that he takes off his gloves every time he pulls out his his fists
Magic map.
Go.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh. Wait, really? Is that the name of the pickup?
No. I watched Red to play King's Quest 6 recently. Alexander pulls out his magic map a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted what you were saying.
It's okay. Well, just the thought occurred to me that if you can take away his hands, you can take away his hands in some source ports, but also he has to take off his gloves to, start punching demons. So what if there was just an in-between slot where you could hold out his gloves and slap demons with them? Like challenge them to a duel. He's just like holding his gloves in his hands.
I want to know why that's not already a mod.
Right?
Hmm.
They'd be called the slappers.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Then you could play Zod Job, and then you gotta get the
Yeah, you
golden
get out
gun.
your slappers.
I honestly don't know very much about GoldenEye.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Although now that you said golden gun, I want a golden pea shooter.
I'm pretty sure there is a WAD with that, at least.
Hmm. But is it the golden gun or is it really the Doom pistol, but gold plated?
I think it's option B. Um,
Hmm.
oh hey, I think I found progress and then immediately didn't go to it. Um,
Good times.
yeah, I don't know why, man. Again, this is why it's good to edit the videos, but you know, this was for the live stream kind of deal.
Right. We want more time so that we can read more wonderful Doom novella. But
Yeah, I didn't exactly think this through because this is new content, though.
yeah, well,
Oh well.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see that it's a new map for you, and even then, you don't know immediately where to go. All despite your legendary Doom experience.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I guess a bit of hubris, a little bit almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
it's neat. I like it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's kind of making me want to get to some of the later, or more recent megawads that I've recorded. Just because, well, I'm not familiar with those either, but I get familiar with some of them because they're freaking hard and I die a bunch.
A million times. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get to see the good take. It's awesome.
That, oh man, it's kind of an interesting concept, right? When we watch Let's Plays in general, is that unless it's the more casual Let's Play where you see every death attempt or you see them get through with at least one or two deaths in there, the cleaner Let's Plays are the good attempt. You don't see all the failed attempts that go into making that one like straight through solid run where everything goes perfectly or like things are done adequately enough to succeed.
Right.
It's kind of alienating because like you go and play video games and you're like, oh man, I've died so many times, this is hard.
Yeah.
Well, so did they when they recorded it, potentially.
Yeah, that's what the death reel's for, to show that I'm human,
right?
and in fact die a lot.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know.
We're almost at 750 deaths in the main videos. It's crazy.
Oh man, you die a lot.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Not to be rude, but just an observation.
Well, if I had just done the mainline games and no WADs, it would have been significantly less. But
Well, and even then, I guess really the appropriate way to phrase that phrase is that Doom kills you a lot.
Yeah, it's true. Especially custom content. Also, at this point,
Yeah.
I don't know where to go, so I'm just looking at the auto map looking for yellow lines because they're secret doors.
I see. I saw a yellow square.
Yeah, it hasn't exactly helped me so far, but I'll get there eventually. Don't worry about it.
Bloody door.
Yeah, I'm back at the start again.
Oh, well. Shoot.
At least I think so. I don't know. These cave areas kind of all look the same.
Yeah, a little.
I don't know. This map could have
used
a little
definitely.
more. Yeah,
You definitely ran a loop. Wait, do I see? Oh, yeah. Barons in there.
Yeah. See,
there be barons ahead.
at some point I picked up the red key, and I guess I didn't notice. So I guess.
Oh yeah, it is there on your HUD.
Yeah. Now we're here.
Hey, hello here.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not how that goes. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
I was gonna try and come up with a good one-liner, but nothing came out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm never gonna shut up about how cool and like I don't know. It's a really '90s thing. I feel it's super '90s, but I love that the sky is just full of fire.
Yeah,
It's like towering inferno surrounded by flames as
it,
high as skyscrapers. It's super metal.
yeah, it's pretty sick. I have to
Uh-huh.
imagine how hot it must feel, though.
Oh man, yeah. Or oh man, you know what else kind of visual it kind of makes me think of? Like
Uh,
this is what it must be like to be on the dark side of an asteroid or a moon that's like right in the proximity of the sun. Like you're so close to the sun that you can see the coronas and fire seeping off the edge of the sun, but like you're in the perfect spot to essentially be fully eclipsed
oh
away
man,
from it.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I don't
Not
know. Maybe we're on Mercury secretly.
maybe. That just made me think of the episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where the sun's about to go out and Courage has to replace the light bulb.
The light bulb inside. Yep.
Uh,
Uh,
Man, that's still such a weird and wonderful show.
it is. Yeah.
Did you know they
It
made a new?
inspired me a lot.
Yeah. Did you know they made a new episode of it in CG like 2 years
What?
ago?
Oh God, no. Or maybe I did. That sounds familiar. Did you know they're doing a one-off full television movie episode of Rocco's Modern Life?
Yeah, I think I did know that.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see where that goes and if they do anything with it other than just have it be a thing. Just like how there's going to be another Hey Arnold movie, I think.
Yeah, and Invader Zim's coming back too.
Oh, and Invader Zim, yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're back in the retro era because clearly we have proven that as humans, our creativity is incredibly limited in scope.
I thought the conclusion was that 90s was peak culture, peak pop
Well,
culture.
well, that's the optimistic outlook.
All right.
We've been rebooting things for so long that now we're literally rebooting things that are only a decade or so old, and it's like,
Oh
really?
man. That's like some like Xeno paradox stuff like
Huh.
kind of. I don't know. Um, what I'm getting at is, will we get to a point where we start rebooting stuff, that was only a year ago, then 6 months ago, then,
Oh
a
God.
week ago, then like 12 seconds ago?
To be fair, we do have Game of the Year editions.
That's true. But do those really count as remakes?
Sometimes, I mean, I've seen some Game of the Year edition stuff that's pretty definitively different. Like, okay, The Last of Us got like a full HD remaster,
Right, for
even though it
the
was a friggin' PS3 game. They remastered it for PS4, and it looks good and all. And I'm not gonna fault Naughty Dog for being Naughty Dog. I definitely like those gentlemen and what they and the video games they make, all of them. But it's just
Also,
that's an example of
sorry, I feel really stupid there because I was humping the walls looking for the way out, and it was just open that whole
there's
time.
a door though.
Oops. But
Just
go on.
you were just channeling me when you were playing this. It's fine.
Yeah. I call this Doom Red Simulation Edition.
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
You're recreate. Well, we're playing PlayStation Doom, my favorite version of Doom.
I was a
Other than,
I was a proxy for Red in this.
yes, there you go. That's the explanation. I digress.
Ooh, something fell over.
Uh-oh. Oh well. But yeah, just that's the one of the more definitive examples I can use to kind of make my argument there is yes, we kind of are already at the phase where we reboot things that are incredibly new. Is that it doesn't take a long time for us to reboot recent ideas. And I don't know if that gap is gonna close more and more as we go. And at the same time, I can't really complain when you take an old idea that was limited by technology or technique or knowledge at the time, and then you go back and make it good in the
Oh,
best way possible by,
yeah.
whoa, this is a cool
Yeah, this
arena.
is awesome.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's took the words out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, what other words are there?
Spectacular, fabulous,
Wait,
exciting.
look, we're in some kind of pentagram arena and the sky's on fire. I don't know what you want.
uh, metal as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
nailed
Anyways,
it.
back to my long-winded philosophical tangent about
Reboots.
what did you call it?
Zeno's
something?
paradox.
Zeno's paradox. Yeah.
Oh, I beat the
Oh,
level.
okay.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Just yeah, next level entryway.
Entryway.
That was the final level of Doom 1
What?
there.
Oh, it just boots us into.
Well,
Really?
Shh, shh, shh.
Oh, I see.
Listen up.
And escape the nightmare. But then Earth Control pinpoints the
But then.
alien invasion, and you are their only hope.
Oh my god.
Get up, return to the fray.
It's unbelievably corny.
Oh my god. That is. Yes. I'm so happy that exists.
Oh man.
It's so. Oh god. That's. Ugh.
Anyway,
There aren't words to describe my joy over that.
it's time for the
It's
death roll
so
for this segment.
Oh. So perfect for the era. I'm. Oh. Yes.
It's good stuff.
Oh! Was that?
Oh
that
yeah,
scream?
That was the
Oh my
scream.
god!
That's,
Yes!
That's the death scream, man.
Oh. I am. Wow.
And
I continue to be enamored by this game. Holy.
as per usual, I kept dying on Hell Beneath. This freaking map by American McGee, still way too hard for its placement in the game. And of course,
American.
yeah, the marshes. I warned you about the marshes, bro. Hey, watch it, Chief. See, I thought I would just like two-shot the Cyber Demon, no problem. But you know,
He would two-shot you instead.
yeah.
You didn't even. Man, you wouldn't have even three-shot him. Jeez.
Yeah, it sucks. Also, here's that building I told you not to go into. There's no way out, and this is the only thing you can do. You can press that switch.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this is the letter R, which is the initials of the creator of this map. There's another. Oh yeah, it's real good.
You just have to crush yourself. Oh man, that's man. Good thing it auto saves at the beginning of the level, because that sucks.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I kind of want to finish this book if you're up for it. I'll just loop the video. Forget it. You want to finish the book?
How close are we?
Like 20 pages away, 2 chapters.
Oh Jesus. Let me get a drink of water and like use the restroom and stuff. But yeah, let's knock it out.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else I can put on the screen instead while you do that.
You could play Doom while I read.
Do you think? Oh, I could do that. Yeah.
Let's go for it.
All right, if you're up for it.
Absolutely.
All
Like I
right,
said, I just need a quick break, and I'll be good to go to knock this thing out of the water.
All right, I'll go to the restroom real quick too, and then I'll entertain the crowd.
Okay. Mental note for the future: we need an intermission logo. I'll start working on it.
All right.
All right. Maybe.
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back. I am ready to go. I don't know if you are, if you're gonna. I don't know if you're gonna play.
I'm going to play some Doom.
All right. You. I don't know if we want to save this for later, or you could like go check out PC PlayStation Doom.
I could do that. Let me just get the wand for that.
Yeah. Keep it relevant, yo.
It's probably
guess.
somewhere in my WAD folder.
Well, while you search.
Oh, PSXTC, I found it.
Hey, nice.
Stream might go down for a sec. Let's find out. Oh.
Okay, I will wait to start reading then.
Oh, right. Here we
Give
go.
me time to massage my slightly strange vocal cords. I was actually, for reasons that I'm not quite sure I want to admit in front of the internet right now, I have been doing a lot of reading aloud today, is all I'll say.
Okay. Alright. Man, I need to organize my Doom folders.